So during these Zoom talks, one of my favorite times is when we have a shout out. So is everybody here from Irvine Valley College, or what colleges are here? If you can put in your colleges, so yes, IVC. IVC is in the house. So we have definitely El Camino, Foothill, Mission College, Santa Clara, Mesa Community, Saddleback, more IVC. My goodness. So let me see. Wow, City College of San Francisco, Rio Hondo, Fullerton, Southwestern, San Diego Mesa, and more IVC. This is amazing. Any ELAC? No, maybe not. But that's where I went. So wanted to know in the chat, since we've got the chat going. So I'm gonna ask you a question. What do you think about when you hear that someone comes in, they're taking a class with you? What do you think about when you hear the word, oh, hi, my name's John, I'm a pre-med? What pops into your mind? If you can instantly just medication, right? Let me make this. Anyone else? Science, I like that. Math, science, hard work, right? Ambitious, helping people. At the CC level, what is the best advice? So they're in the class with you at community college. Are you sure? I want to know how they navigate. Resilient. You must get a little sleep, very little sleep, right? And sometimes you hear like, competitive. Sometimes you hear, super smart. So, need for support. Good. So what do you think about, now let's change this up a little bit. What do you think about when you think of medical school? Somebody says, oh, or nursing school. Dedicated and tenacious, long hours, coffee and dreams, competitive, twice, still science, very competitive, want to help people. Challenging, yes. Giving years away, lack of sleep, grit, yeah. So the last one, what do you think about no life? When you think a doctor or a healthcare worker, somebody comes up to you and says, hi, I'm a doctor, or hi, I'm a nurse. Dedication's always there, right? Heroes, yeah, character, rigorous, awesomeness, smart, brilliant, successful. Yeah, those are good. Impressive, saving lives. So resilient, you made it. Yeah. So these are great. Oh my goodness. Excellent. So I always put this up because it's always interesting for me to see that a person that gets, sometimes it gets labeled as no sleep, still resilient, but hardworking, going to medical school, which is a dream, but still long career. And it's just still lots of coffee, I think somebody said. And then you put them into this, some of the things that you use are caring, saving lives. And how does that transition happen from kind of this just seems difficult situation going into an even more difficult situation, which is medical school, and then coming out with this kind, compassionate, caring person, and all this we'll talk about. It doesn't happen in medical school. There's no class that you take that shows you, oh, here's how to be compassionate. It happens when you're growing up, and what you bring to that medical school. And I feel that you all have what it takes to make that next journey and that next step. You're here and you know the importance of it, and you know that you're needed in the field of health and medicine. I feel you do. I really do. That's why you're here. But it's the idea that we live with that occasionally creeps up, that doubt that circles us on a constant basis, and it clouds, and at times it can overwhelm us, right? Especially when we begin to compare ourselves to others. It's always about time. Oh my goodness, when is it going to be my time? How much time is this going to take? I heard in the chat, it's going to be a long journey, right? Family members they'd ask me, they'd ask you, mijo, mija, when are you going to school? Where are you going to finish? I mean, and these are all well-intentioned people. These are people that love us to death. They want to see our utmost happiness, and they do it so we don't get derailed, so we don't lose sight of what we're doing and keep our goals and dreams alive. So yeah, but they don't know us, right? As resilient community college students, I feel I'm one of you. I really do. I still feel like a community college student. We are cut from the same stone. See, deep down we can feel it. Deep down we know why we do what we do, and deep in our hearts we know it's by any means necessary. So we're going to make this happen. So deep down in our minds, we can already see ourselves walking into our clinic and thinking, for me, it was today, La Señora Sanchez is coming in for diabetes care. We have baby Antonio and his mom coming for a well child care and a routine checkup. See, I'm family medicine. And we can't forget about Senor Gonzalez. Today, there is a medication that I want to talk to him about for his arthritis that's going to really help him. So maybe he'd like to try it. So these are the things that I would kind of generate in my head. These are the things that we imagine in our head when we're taking these classes. This is where we pick up that huge bio book or memorize a list of reactions in organic chemistry, or even try to master force, masses, pulleys in physics. We do it for them. We know that they're waiting for us, and we know that no one can give them the care that they deserve but us, and no one can do it better than me. And that's a belief that we have to have. So why? Because I know where my patients come from. I know the communities that they live in. I know because I'm from that community that I work now. So we convince ourselves we need to get this done. We need to make sure that we're taking care of business on that end at school. And this is what my life was as a pre-med student. Every biolab had a future patient dedicated to them. It was my purpose. It was my why. In organic chemistry, oxidizing the PCC, boom, problem solved for Senor Jimenez. For physics, mg cosine theta on a slope, boom, problem solved. This is dedicated to Senora Sanchez. This is what kept me going day in and day out. The first step in all of this is to begin to visualize it, to begin to see it, envision it. This starts with us. This starts with you. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing my slides, and I want to see this board here. I said stop sharing. Thank you for being with me. All right. And could we have all the panelists, like instead of me being the center, like just put everybody? Would that be possible, Armando, or no? If not, that's okay. But what I want everybody to do, and this is where my life changed, I want everybody to put on change their name, and I want you to change your name to the degree that you want to be. So I'm looking at Angela Sotelo. If it's going to be an MD, comma MD. Kathy Denver, comma MD, or whatever degree, PhD. If you can go ahead and do that, I'd just love to see that. Amy Chung, if you can switch your name, that would be great. And if you can keep it up there for the duration of the talk. Ian Takeo, I'm looking at you over here. Actually, what would be cool is if just throw your name on where it says everyone on the chat. So I'll be the first to do it. There it is. Oh my God, it looks beautiful. I just want to see this come up. We'll get back to the talk. It's just very powerful to see this, and very powerful to visualize it and start believing in this, because this is where it starts. Now I'm going to go reshare my screen. Thank you for going along with this. Looks awesome. All right. Great. Thank you. So with that being said, I wanted to go ahead and talk a little bit about what it takes, or what patients see, or what patients want from either a physician, NP, PA, a nurse, someone in the health field. And this one is called Doctors and Nurses Wanted. This is a want ad, and we are in a deficit right now in our society, where we have a shortage of health care providers. It's really bad. And I'll tell you the numbers in a little bit, but the AAMC, the Association of American Medical Colleges, as far as physicians is concerned, by the year 2034, there is going to be a shortage of over 100,000 physicians in the United States. So then there's plans to, how do we increase medical schools? How do we increase residencies? In fact, how do we bring in talent from outside the country? So right now you are in an extremely great spot where you're going to start thinking, okay, I'm going to get a lot of help here, because it's going to be a lot of resources. But I want you to think about what it's going to take to become a doctor, a nurse somewhere in the health field. So let's go over this. Must have self-confidence, must be knowledgeable and willing to be a lifelong learner. This is the number one quality what patients are looking for in a doctor. It is reassuring to know that someone that's qualified is sitting in the passenger seat with the patient driving. So the ability to know the limits and just plainly say sometimes, hey, I'm not sure, but I know where to get the answers. I'll make sure you're covered on that. So must be extremely intelligent, a master problem solver. So being comfortable with not knowing the answers, but having the ability to begin to put things together, like just a detective. Must be a hard worker. Must have a love for biology. Must have a fascination for science. So this is your bread and butter. This is it for the rest of your life. Excellent test taking skills. So you're going to be inundated with exams from now on through your undergraduate years, whether it's nursing, whether it's being a physician, NPPA, MCATs, board recertifications, NCLEX for nurses. The standardized tests are going to be there. Must have a steady hand. So you may be a brain surgeon, knowing that the memories of someone's entire life is in your hands. And one small nick, you could either take out that tumor, or you can erase the memories of them. Placing stitches on a child, you don't want that work being seen when the child grows older. So you want to make sure that when you put the stitches and you suture that child up in the emergency room, that they never see that in the future. Strong leadership skills. You will automatically be looked upon as a person with the answers. Honest and forthright. You're going to get patients come in, tell it to me straight, doc, and know what tone to strike and break it down so that patient really understands it. Know when to say what, when. Be professional at all times. This is not a 9-to-5 job. It's being a doctor at all times. You're on your way to Hawaii, got Mai Tais on your mind. You're already sensing the beach, and then on the loudspeaker in the plane, somebody says, "Is there a doctor on the plane?" You don't say, "I'm on vacation." You actually say, "Absolutely, I'm right here, ready to serve." Altruistic, selfless, must be empathetic, caring, and compassionate. Have the ability to validate someone's suffering, putting yourself in their shoes. and helping you to do something about it. Must have the ability to work in a team, must be excellent at collaborative and cooperative work, must be humble, knowing that you are not God, knowing that you can learn from your patients, your nurses, your medical assistants, and not shutting them out because you're supposed to be the doctor or the specialist. Must have humility, being the first to admit your mistakes and always learning from them and saying, okay, what are we going to be doing differently next time? Must be passionate about patient care and the health field. This is why we're here. This is why we wake up in the morning, right? Must have excellent communication skills, be a great teacher, break down complex jargon into terms that your patients understand, and making sure they understand. So must have strong listening skills, must be observant. At times, silence is golden. And being able to let our patients express themselves and feel as they have a voice. Unbiased and non-judgmental. You may have a patient that doesn't have your beliefs, and putting that patient first at all times for whatever they need. Extreme integrity and high moral standards, energetic and enthusiastic, warm, friendly, a love for people. So it can be contagious with your patients and staff. Let me tell you, you got a clinic that the music's thumping, the patients are dancing into the rooms, and everybody's all, on a contagious high. That's amazing. That's an amazing. People get better. Must have humor. So it's a long road. Being able to laugh with others and sometimes even laugh at yourself and enjoy your journey. So, I ask you this, what do you think? Do you see yourselves here? Do you still want to do this? It seems like a daunting list, right? So I'm a firm believer though that you're not born with these abilities. These traits are taught and learned. So they are fostered by your experiences in life and our mentors, people that have influenced us in life. So you may look at this and say, okay, well, I have self-confidence. I have the ability to work in a team. I have humility. I can do that. Or some of you maybe look at this and say, okay, well, I'm altruistic and selfless. I'm humble and I have humility. Or some of you may even look at this and say, I have a passion about patient care and the health field. I'm warm and friendly and I have a love for people, so that's where you might start. And that's okay because everything else you build on. And your training in being a doctor doesn't start in your medical school or in your nursing school. It didn't even start on your first day of taking your science courses at community college. It started in your childhood with your life experiences. It started with your upbringing and it'll continue for the rest of your life. I take every single person that I've met with me and my experiences into the office, into my practice. It's something you will always work on for the rest of your life. And there's a reason why they call it the practice of medicine. You're always striving to be a better person, a better clinician, and a better scientist each and every day. And I wanted to go ahead and share a little bit because I think it's important that one, I'm going to share my story, but then the other one is I'm going to give you my email. So then maybe you contact me and then, over a cup of coffee or something, we can discuss your story. How's that? Is that a deal? So with that being said, my purpose, I work for Ultimate Health Services, and it is the largest federally qualified health center in the United States. It is where I'm going to retire because this place has the why. It was created in 1969 by the Brown Berets, and it is just a place where I thought I was going to be working at free clinics for the rest of my life. And this place is actually gives me the opportunity to see patients that can't pay for healthcare and put them on my schedule and make sure that if they can't pay, they can't pay. And I love it. So it's called an FQHC, Federally Qualified Health Center. They're all over the place in the United States. But my purpose is pretty simple. One is to be the best husband I can be to my wife. That's it. that if I'm not doing that, then I'm out. I'm out of the business. I'm out of the healthcare business. Number two is to serve the medically underserved community. That's what I wake up and I think about, and I go to sleep and I think about. And if you're in that realm where you want to give back to the medically underserved community, then you and I, we need to be besties. We need to be really close because we definitely need to make sure that that workforce is reinforced. And the third one is to train the next generation of doctors, nurses, LVNs, CNAs, MAs to serve in that community. So if you're there, we need to talk because I'd love to make sure that we're connecting on that. So that's where I work. But once again, like I told you earlier, it all didn't start there. And my path is not, it's been windy. My parents came from Mexico and they came here. My dad, once again, had a sixth grade education. My mom got her GED here in the United States, and I didn't do so well in high school. I feel I look back at high school and I felt that, you know, I just didn't have an interest because I didn't feel I could do well. And I thought that if nobody's really paying attention to me, then I got to figure other things out. And the day I graduated from high school, I was really happy to be done with it. I handed my dad a crumpled diploma, and I said, "Here you go, old man. I'm done. Thank you so much for the efforts, but I'm going to be taking off and doing my own thing." And my dad was concerned, and he's like, "Well, do you want to go to school still, or do you want to work with your hands? Where do you want to, work?" And I chose to work with I told him I wanted to work with my hands. My dad was really happy about that because he was a carpet, linoleum installer, tile installer. He did it all, and he was really good at it. So he thought I was going to go work with him. It turns out that I chose to be a professional musician at the age of 18. And um, there's there's old pictures that I resurfaced. If you don't believe it, my hair was down to just about my waist, and played in a rock and roll band called Romantic Torture. And I was the lead guitarist for 8 years of my life. I was a lot of couch surfing, a lot of sleeping in studios, just trying to make ends meet. And at the age of 26, you start looking around and thinking, wow, I really dissed a lot of people in my life. I really, my own family wanted to, make sure to support me, and I distanced myself from them. What next? And then I just kept on imagining myself with my hair down to my waist at 66 with gray hair, thinking like, is this what I want to do? Is where I want to be for the rest of my life? I just didn't see any direction. I had no purpose. And the rock and roll thing was a little tough. So it just didn't seem plausible that I would continue. And then, my brother actually said, "Hey, why don't you go back to school?" And I said, I didn't do so well in school. Are you kidding me? I don't think it's going to be working out. And he goes, "You can go to community college." And for me to this day, community college is my second chance. It is my saving grace. I went to go visit East LA College a couple weeks ago. I was so proud to be there. I bought my shirt, I bought my sweater. I just feel so in debt to the community college system. It's probably one of the most greatest things ever created because it gives people that second chance. Because in coming out of high school, I wasn't ready. So the not the funny thing is professional's personal. Now we have high school programs at Altamed, and I want to make sure that everybody has that opportunity, to make sure that they're continuing that journey, and they don't have the same experience that I did when I was going through the process. But so when I went to community college, I went to East LA College, and I sat in the front row. And like I told you, my first class was Chicano art, and I just could not believe all the things in my life, and actually in my family's life, that I was relating to. And you know, you take a few of the Mexican American courses, and you're thinking, oh my goodness, um, you know, there's a lot of disparities here in my community. I've got to give back. And then you start meeting people in those pre-health clubs, and you're like, well, maybe I can do it as a doctor. And then you start kind of getting in your head like, wow, maybe I could be a doctor, maybe I could be that MD. um, and then when I started taking the courses, the next step was to meet with a pre-med advisor. And I remember sitting down with this one pre-med. She had a PhD. So she knew a lot. She was, you know, for me, PhD was like, whoa, that's amazing. And I said, hey, Dr. Chan, I want to serve the community. I want to become a physician, and I want to make sure that just my patients are getting the best quality possible. And she said, the first thing she said is, she said, what's your GPA? And I said, it's, it was in the high threes. And she's like, okay, good. Great. How old are you? 26. She's like, oh no, you're too old. You're too old to be a doctor. You should have started that a long time ago. And then she asked me, do you have a girlfriend? And I said, yes. She's like, oh, you're going to have to get rid of her because you need to dedicate yourself. So I left that office feeling defeated, feeling like, oh my God, my dream is over. And I ended up becoming what I call a closet pre-med. I made sure I didn't tell anybody. I hid the fact that I was taking general chemistry, biology, calculus, In fact, that big old calculus book, the one it used to have like the F holes on it, like the integrals. I had that, and people would call me out like, I think you're pre-med, and I'd be like, I'm not pre-med, no way, I'm not pre-med. And then one of my friends pulled me aside, and he's like, I think you're pre-med. And I ended up actually putting my name like you did today, Marco Angulo, MD. And there's a comment in the chat. I did not get rid of my girlfriend though at the time, but that made me see that Marco Angulo, MD, made me see like, oh my God, this is possible. This is where I need to be. And actually, I turned it around. I said, you know what? I am going to be the most visible person that's going to be a physician. I need to believe it myself. If I don't believe it, then nobody's going to believe it. And at first, there was a backlash. At first, it was people were, they were kind of like, "Are you sure? I don't know," that type of a thing. But I was like, whatever. I'm gonna do it. I don't care what you think or what you say. And sure enough, people started to believe it themselves. They're like, okay, I guess he's going to go off. He said he's going to go off. And my time at the community college was a very successful time. I felt I owned East LA College at the time when I transferred, and I transferred to UC Berkeley. And when I did transfer to UC Berkeley, that was a different story. My first semester was probably the worst semester of my entire life. I barely passed my classes, had like a low C average, and I just couldn't believe what had happened. And now looking back, I know what happened. I just went from one system that I knew so well onto another one that I just needed to learn it. So in community college, when I was at East LA College, I read the book. I could read the book, and that was going to be on the test. I remember that. And I remember sometimes I would correct the teacher. I was like, oh, well, the book says this. And like, oh, that's right. Right. At UC Berkeley or anywhere there's a, research one institution, it was more like the book is optional or supplemental. And whatever the professor said, that's gold. That was going to be on the test, because that professor was the leading professor of, the stuff that they were studying hadn't even made it to the book yet. And at first I was taking a lot of time reading the book, and that's why I wasn't doing well. But after I got done with my first semester, I was like, wow, that was crazy. Maybe that this medical school stuff isn't what I'm not cut out for it. And that's when I met with one of my biggest mentors up in Berkeley, and he sat me down. He's like, okay, you had a rough semester. Let's reorganize and let's do it again. Let's plan for it better. And I was like, but John, are you sure? Like this, it's over. And he was actually, no, not really. You still got a lot of fight in you. Let's reorganize. It just blew me away how he could have easily said, your career is over, go choose something else. Why don't you try, X-ray tech or whatever, whatnot. And he was just sitting there and strategizing with me. And that's why I have on my PowerPoint, I have gatekeepers, cheerleaders, and coaches, because Dr. Chan at East LA College, she has good heart, but she's a gatekeeper. She wanted to make sure that I wasn't hurting myself. She wanted to spare me the agony of a long life of trying to get into medical school, never succeeding, because for her, that was like a good thing. I'm trying to coach I'm trying to get these students into like the better fit for them. And then the cheerleaders, that's like my family, my parents, my brothers, like, come on, you could do it. We don't know how you're going to do it, but you can do it, right? And then you have the coaches. And that is who I wanted to hang out with, my coaches, not just one coach. I had many coaches. And those are the people that sit with you and really learn who you are and say, okay, what are we going to be doing, and how are you going to be doing it differently? They dust you off and then kind of make you go. So I learned a lot from that. And then once again, when I started building all these patients in my head, like you heard Senora Sanchez, Senor Jimenez, I go, I need to do this for them. This is my purpose. And all of a sudden, everything made sense. And I wasn't coming in fear, like, I hope oh my God, I have to be perfect. It was more like, hey, I have a purpose in life. And that is to make sure that I'm seeing those patients. Senora Sanchez, Senor Jimenez, Senor Gutierrez, I had a list. And I ended up getting my first A's, and then it just snowballed after that. It was amazing. I had an amazing experience at Berkeley. And then I applied to medical school. Now, medical school was amazing because I knew that 99% of the people that get in actually stay in, they graduate. And I remember one time that I was working on my cadaver, and I was thinking, what the heck am I doing here? At the age of 36, I started medical school. And I remember going home, and then the formaldehyde smell is on your gloves, and you take off your gloves, and then I'm having a sandwich, and I have my gloves off. I washed my hands several times, and just that smell still on my hands. And honestly, that was the greatest smell in the entire world, because I knew that I was in medical school. I knew that nobody could take this away. The only person that could take it away would be me. And for me, that was so important to continue. And I wanted to make sure that I was actually not only learning from my classmates, but also teaching my classmates. Because when I went to the communities in Santa Ana, when I went to the communities in Anaheim, that was my community. So a lot of my classmates didn't have that experience, and that was for me my superpower. So talk about imposter syndrome, and do I belong here? Always my rebuttal to that was absolutely. How are my classmates and my professors going to learn a lot about my community if I'm not there, charging the cause? So it was a wonderful time, and I'll never forget it. It was tough, of course, but it was wonderful. And this is a picture of a match day. I graduated. The guy that barely graduated from high school graduated with honors and distinction. And I always remember that's one of the happiest days of my life, because that's when I got my job at Irvine in residency. And my dad was right there, right by my side. And the person that took this picture, man, I give them such props all the time I see them, because I know who took that picture. But my dad's never cried. And this one time I'm like, Dad, why are you crying? And he goes, I don't know. I don't know why I'm crying. But this time when I handed him my diploma, it was in a frame. It wasn't crumpled up. And a couple years later, he passed away. But that's I'm happy that he got a chance to see that, you know. And now, you know, I got to tell you, all the patients that I imagined, all of them are there, just waiting. Senora Sanchez, Senor Jimenez. You know, I get to see him every day. And let me tell you, the best part of my day is right before I go into the room. I always think like, how would my mom and my dad want to be treated? How would my family members want to be treated? And then when I go in the room and I hear the door close, that's endorphins. That for me is like, because you know it's just you and that patient. That's it. And you know that that patient, sometimes they share things with you that they don't even share with their loved ones. That's sacred space, you know? And for me, I'm a coach. I'm a coach to them, you know? I want to make sure that they have everything they need. Sometimes we may defer on things, and that's okay. I'm not going to give up on my patient and say, look, you didn't listen to me. I don't want to be your doctor anymore. That's absurd and unheard, right? I have to be there for them and support them as much as wherever they want to go, and just be that person that kind of helps open that door for them. But with that being said, I just wanted to say I have a message for you, but before I deliver it to you, you know a little bit about the messenger, about myself. I think when you read someone's CV and all the accomplishments that go with that, you think, wow, that person's pretty successful. You know, I got the MD behind my name. It must have come easy. I'm hoping you just by this PowerPoint that, or by the picture, you're like, ah, it didn't come so easy. Well, these accomplishments always leave out the blood, sweat, and the tears that we go through in our journey. So we condense this and we show only the victories in our CVs and leave the mistakes and failures on the cutting room floor. Yeah, my CV doesn't have the day in my life hit rock bottom and, you know, sleeping in the rehearsal studios like I was telling you, because I had nowhere to go. Nowhere in there am I going to put that didn't have a penny to my name, stressing out and asking myself, how am I going to pay for rent? Walking into an organic chemistry final, thinking like, oh, this is not good. My CV doesn't show the countless pre-med advisors that told me to take a different route all the time. That medicine was not for me. I was too old, too dumb, too soft. I've had people tell me that. You're not going to find my 3 failed MCATs on there. And the time I fell asleep in the middle of one of them because I didn't sleep the night before, thinking if I don't do this now, my career is over. Always thinking that. And you won't see the 29 rejection letters that I received when I applied to medical school, and the countless tears each one of them brought that reminded me that maybe this career wasn't for me. Every single one of those 29 rejection letters was a dagger, right? And I still have them. And my wife is like, can we get rid of them now? I'm like, no, this is a reminder of just life. But we remember all those times that have shaped our lives, whether good or bad, and like if it were yesterday. And more important, we remember who was with us to celebrate those times, our mentors. And with every patient interaction, you bring in all of your life experiences. This idea of transference, where you see family members in the patients you're helping, you want to go that extra mile. They deserve it. Your endorphins go like crazy. Let me tell you, I love that. And now remember all those patients, the ones that I told you, I'm seeing them now, Senora Sanchez, Senor Jimenez, Senor Gutierrez, they're all there. They're waiting for you. And just before that knock, let me tell you, that's the magic. And it's a beautiful thing. I want to share this with you, but I don't want not the shadowing part. I want to share this with you as a profession. I don't want to keep this to myself. It's such a beautiful profession. And I always ask myself, how did I get here? So every success that I've had in my life, I look back and I attribute to my mentors, my coaches. And for that, I'm grateful. You know, I met 3 of them today for you, Tuan, Armando, and Vanessa, you know, and I think that this is why for me, professional is personal. And I continue to try to give back to others. And I see this as a way of honoring those before me that have given so much to me. And I'd like to leave you with this message, but because I see myself in you. I really do. I believe we're definitely cut from the same stone. My message to you is that we need you bad. We need you here. Please realize how important this moment is for you and for us, because we know that it's personal. It's very personal to you. And who better to do this than you? When I first started on this journey to serve the underserved, I thought everybody wanted to help. As I continued to the profession, I realized that there weren't as many as I thought. And it really took a special kind of doctor to commit themselves to the underserved. We believe that you are that special kind of doctor, that special kind of nurse, that special kind of provider. And like I told you, in 2034, I'll repeat it again, we're looking at 100,000 physician shortage. Nursing is getting there too. And the next question is, where are all of you? That's what all the admissions people are asking. And we know that you're here. You're actually right here. But there's only one person that's going to stop you from doing this, and that is you. But if you don't do this, if not you, then who's going to do it? Who's going to serve the medically underserved communities? Who will help us carry that torch to eliminate disparities? And I hope and pray that this challenge excites you, that you're up for it, and that you want to be that difference. But you need to start believing that you'll become that doctor, that nurse, that NP, that PA. You need to begin to own it by any means necessary. So I'm glad you put your names on the Zoom. And I love that. They look very powerful. We get it. We know this is hard. We know how you feel. We know how it feels to look at yourself in a mirror every morning, every day, and take a deep breath and ask yourself, am I going to get there? Am I wasting my time? We know what it feels like when you get back an exam, a grade, or an MCAT score, wherever you're at in your career, and feel your heart sink to the bottom of your pit of your stomach, and you're like, oh my God, my career's over. We know how it feels to have family members always remind you of the time or when you're going, when are you going to start? I'm not getting any younger. Or on the other spectrum, you have family members that don't even support or aren't interested in what you're doing. And we know what it feels like to be at a talk like this, and you keep hearing these ridiculous speakers say, we need you, when all along you're here, right here in front of us, screaming to get in. Let me in. Why do they make it so difficult? I was there. And one thing I've learned is that there are no shortcuts. We can't take your exams for you. We can't transfer you to a 4-year university. We can't make you believe that you can do this. It has to come from you. It has to start from you. What we can do, though, as mentors, is guide you like we've been guided in our lives. What we can do is pass along the information that was given to us that has helped us on our career. So you're not alone on this. We are all here to help and guide you through the process. And that is a promise I give to you. I'd like to definitely put my money where my mouth is. Here's my email right there. One last thing I wanted to leave you with. You've chosen what I feel is the greatest career and one that I'm so proud to be a part of. To have the ability to walk in that room and sit with a patient and just listen is priceless. As a doctor, you have that ability to make sure that your patient has the best care possible and that they feel supported through their journey in life. So your future awaits you, and I know they are going to love meeting you. And I hope you let us be a part of your journey every step of the way. So I've been in the pre-med world for over 20 years, 20 plus years. My contact is there. We do have summer programs at Ultimate Health Services. We have a medical education department that helps students along the way. and we would love for you to be a part of it. And if you are dedicated to serving the medically underserved community, we need to talk.